The galaxy had seen storms, wars, plagues, and monsters, but nothing ever matched the shadows hidden behind ancient ruins and lost archives. Civilizations came and went like dust blown across quiet space, yet some stories survived, broken, incomplete, half burned into stone tablets and half buried in melted cities. Stories about the XYRH, a name so old that languages died before they learned how to pronounce it. A name so feared that entire species erased it from history. Not because they didn't believe it. No. Because believing it meant accepting that something existed beyond logic, beyond science, beyond life itself. Something that hunted light. Something that fed on stars. Something that woke only when disturbed. And tonight, humans disturbed it. In the far outer rim, where star maps grew blurry and sensors refused to function, a human research ship drifted into a region marked with only one warning label: void territory. No signals. No return. The ship was Aurora 7, a small but advanced explorer vessel with a crew of 21 humans who had trained for years to explore unknown sectors. Captain Elena Ward stood at the command deck, her posture strong yet tense, her eyes locked on the view window ahead. She was calm, smart, stubborn, and respected, but even she felt something unsettling in the air. Something cold, silent, watching. As the ship moved deeper into the zone, the stars disappeared one by one, swallowed not by clouds, not by shadows, but by pure nothingness. The universe around them became a hollow black ocean without light, sound, or life. Elena whispered under her breath, "This is wrong." Her crew felt the same. Lieutenant Harris checked the sensors and frowned, confusion carving lines into his face. "Captain, I'm getting nothing. No gravity readings, no radiation, no signal echoes. It's like this place doesn't exist." Elena looked at the dark window again. "Everything exists," she said softly. "Even things we don't understand." For 10 long minutes, the Aurora 7 drifted through silence so deep it felt alive. The engines hummed, but the sound felt swallowed. The air felt heavy. Even breathing seemed slow. Then, something appeared on the radar for half a second, a faint dot, drifting slowly through the void. Harris leaned forward. "Captain, we have an object. Small. Not metal." Elena gave the order. "Bring it in. Carefully." The crew moved with precision, and after several minutes of slow maneuvering, a small black crystal was secured inside a transparent containment chamber. It was the size of a child's fist, perfectly shaped, smooth, and faintly glowing with dark purple veins that pulsed like a heartbeat. The instant it entered the ship, every screen flickered. Elena stepped closer, eyes narrowed. "What is it?" Dr. Lyra scanned it from behind the glass. "It's not mineral, not organic, not machine. Captain, it's something else, something unknown." Elena felt her stomach twist. The crystal pulsed again, like a living thing waking up. Lyra whispered, "This doesn't feel natural." The next second changed the entire galaxy. Every sensor, every alarm, every screen on Aurora 7 exploded with warnings. Lights flashed red. Systems overloaded. Engines groaned. The ship shook like something giant had touched it. Elena shouted orders, but before anyone could respond, a deep voice, cold, ancient, powerful, entered every mind on the ship. A voice with weight. A voice not spoken through air but directly into their thoughts. "We are awake." Elena's blood turned cold. The crew froze, hands trembling, hearts racing. Then something worse happened. The crystal cracked. Not broken, opened. Like an eye. A thin black vapor slid out, moved like a shadow, and dissolved into the air. Every crew member felt a chill run through their bones. Far across the galaxy, in 12 forgotten star systems where no one had traveled in thousands of years, the ground shook. Giant mountains split open. Ancient hibernation chambers cracked. Something living, something monstrous, something older than the galaxy itself, rose from darkness. Alien planets screamed. Their skies turned black. Their oceans froze in seconds. Their moons shattered without sound. Every known empire in the galaxy, from the Scalorian Dominion to the Velan Republic to the proud Zyrak Highborn, received the same message across their communication networks. A message in a dead language that every species somehow understood. Congratulations, humans. You just started a war with us. Panic spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Across alien cities, alarms rang, broadcasts screamed with warnings, news anchors begged citizens to hide. Leaders held emergency meetings, yelling, blaming, afraid to breathe. Some blamed Earth. Some blamed the Council. Some blamed fate. But all of them agreed on one thing: whatever woke up was not supposed to ever wake again. Inside the Galactic Council Hall, thousands of alien representatives stared at the hologram of the black crystal with horror. Some cried. Some fainted. Some argued. But one thing united them: they were terrified. They had believed the HFY were a myth. A bedtime story to scare younglings. A legend used to warn children not to wander into dark spaces. But now the myth was awake. And the myth was real. And the myth was hungry. Earth was blamed instantly. Dozens of alien ambassadors screamed that humans touched something forbidden. Humans woke something impossible. Humans must explain. But Earth did not panic. Earth did not cry. Earth did not fall to its knees. Instead, Earth prepared. Because humans had a strange habit. They never ran from fear. They ran toward it. Back on Aurora 7, Elena struggled to control her ship. Systems flickered. Gravity failed. Lights dimmed. The ship felt like it was sinking through liquid shadows. A voice echoed again, not through speakers, not through air, but through minds. We hunger. Elena grabbed the edge of a console as the room swayed. She shouted at her crew, "Everyone, stabilize. Harris, reroute power. Lyra, keep eyes on that thing." But Lyra stepped back, horrified. "Captain, it's gone." The crystal, now fully cracked open, dissolved into dust. But something else remained, an invisible presence that moved across the room like cold breath. The crew felt it sliding across their skin like fingers tracing their bones. Elena whispered, "We need to leave this sector. Now." The engines roared back to life. The ship shuddered violently. The void outside shifted. For a heartbeat, Elena saw a shape, tall, thin, stretched like a shadow made of smoke. It had no face, yet she felt it stare at her. When it moved, it didn't walk, it glided. Smooth, silent, hungry, and then it vanished. Aurora 7 jumped to hyperspeed, leaving the dead region behind. But something came with them. While the ship escaped, the Council's panic grew. Alien leaders shouted at each other, demanding explanations, demanding protection, demanding mercy. But mercy was not coming. The HFY had awakened after 30,000 years of sleep. They remembered pain. They remembered betrayal. And they remembered hunger. On a distant moon, where one of the ancient hibernation chambers cracked open, a creature emerged, towering, elegant, terrifying. It stretched its long limbs, opened its 8 glowing eyes, and whispered, "Find the humans." Back on Aurora 7, Elena tried to calm her shaking hands. She had seen war before. She had seen death. But nothing compared to the fear that crept into her chest now. Something older than time itself had spoken directly to her mind. Something that ate stars for food. Something that saw humans as sparks waiting to be crushed. She turned to Harris, who sat pale and trembling. "Message Earth," she ordered. "Tell them we found something. Tell them we woke something terrible." But Harris shook his head slowly, eyes wide with dread. "Captain, they already know." Elena looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" He swallowed hard. "Because every star system in the galaxy just sent Earth the same message." Elena felt her heartbeat slow as Harris whispered the words. "Congratulations, humans. You just started a war with the deadliest creatures the galaxy has ever known." The screen flickered again. The ship lights died. And something crawled across the hull from the outside. Not metal. Not creature. Not shadow. Something in between. Something that should not exist. Elena faced the dark window, and for the first time in her life, she whispered a prayer, not for herself, but for the entire human race. Because she now understood the truth. They had triggered something older than the galaxy. Something that wanted them. Something that was coming. And something that would not stop. Not until humanity was gone. The galaxy did not sleep that night. Every empire, every planet, every ship, every home felt the same cold wave moving through the stars. Something old had awakened, and everyone sensed it in their bones even before the messages began flooding in. Screens across alien worlds flickered with the same chilling announcement, "We are awake." Then the second message arrived, dripping with dark amusement. "Congratulations, humans. You just started a war with us." Entire civilizations froze. Some leaders screamed. Some ran. Some prayed. But no one knew what the HFY really were. Not the truth, not the scale, not the hunger. Only humans had touched the ancient object. Only humans had woken the nightmare. Only humans understood the danger rising in the dark. On the human side of the galaxy, deep inside Earth's high command, Admiral Kane walked into the situation room with quiet steps that felt heavier than steel. He was a calm man, with eyes shaped by war and a voice that carried weight without shouting. Dozens of officers were already there, some pale, some sweating, some shaking. They all stopped speaking the moment Kane appeared. He looked at the projected hologram of the black crystal, now cracked like a dead heart. "Where is Aurora 7 now?" he asked. A trembling officer answered, "Sir, the ship reappeared on long-range sensors." But something came back with them. Kane's jaw tightened. "Explain." The officer swallowed. "We detected a movement around their hull. Something not metal, not living, not energy. We don't even know how to classify it, sir." Kane stared at the screen showing Aurora 7 drifting slowly toward human space. Shadows moved around it. Shapes that flickered like smoke trapped in water. Impossible shapes. Wrong shapes. "Get me Captain Elena Ward," Kane ordered. The connection crackled. Static filled the room. Then Elena's voice came through, weak, strained, trembling. "This is Aurora 7. We need immediate assistance. Something is on the ship. Something is inside." Her voice cut. A metal crash echoed in the background. Someone screamed. Kane clenched his fist but kept his voice calm. "Captain Ward, can you hear me?" Silence answered him. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien worlds held emergency meetings. The Scalorian Dominion gathered inside a stone fortress carved into mountains that floated above a stormy sea. Their leader, High Monarch Variel, slammed his clawed hand against the table. Humans touched the forbidden object. Humans woke the HFY. The Velan Republic protested. "It happened in human space. Yes, but the HFY will devour us all. This is bigger than blame." The reptilian Zyrak emissary hissed. "The HFY do not devour, they erase." Every leader stared at him. "Erase?" he repeated. "Yes. Old ruins speak of them. They do not conquer planets. They clean them. They swallow stars. They make light disappear. They remove everything from existence." Fear spread across the hall like poison. Back on Earth, Kane replayed the ancient warning recovered from one of the hibernation planets. The message was simple: do not wake the sleeper. It will not return to sleep again. Kane rubbed his forehead. "We need to assume the worst." His second-in-command, General Maya Toren, stepped forward. "Sir, do we activate Black Shield Protocol?" Kane hesitated. Black Shield was Earth's doomsday preparation, the plan built for a threat no one believed would ever come. But he nodded slowly. "Activate it. Bring the fleet to full readiness." Alarms echoed through Earth's defense network. Thousands of warships awakened. Massive orbital cannons powered up. Ground forces received urgent orders. Humanity did not hide. Humanity prepared. But fear was not limited to planets. Fear traveled through space like dark wind. On Aurora 7, Captain Elena Ward stood inside a broken corridor, staring at the flickering lights. Her crew huddled behind her, their faces pale with terror. Something crawled through the vents, soft, slow, whispering. Elena gripped her pulse rifle tightly. "Move behind me," she whispered to the crew. "Stay quiet." The lights dimmed even more. Something slid across the ceiling, thin, shadow-like, bending its body in impossible angles. Elena held her breath. The shadow paused, turned, and Elena felt cold fingers brush her mind. Her heart hammered. It whispered inside her skull, "You woke us. You smell alive." Elena steadied her stance. "Stay out of my head," she whispered back. On the council planet, panic reached its peak. Alien civilians stormed shelters. Soldiers rushed to defensive positions. Scientists dug through ancient archives searching for answers, but every record was the same. Warnings written by species long dead. The HFY cannot be fought with weapons. They swallow energy. They consume life. They turn light into darkness. The council demanded to speak to Earth immediately. Kane appeared on the hologram screen, calm but sharp. "We did not mean to wake them," he said. "But running will not help us. Preparing will." Some aliens shouted insults. Others demanded human punishment. But many stared at Kane's eyes and realized something important. Humans were not afraid to stand in front of the nightmare. They were preparing to fight it. In the quiet darkness of space, Aurora 7 drifted closer to Earth. The shadow on its hull thickened. Its form grew clearer. It was tall, long-limbed, smooth-skinned, with eyes like burning embers under a veil of smoke. It tapped the glass. The ship's front window cracked. Elena raised her rifle and fired. The bullet passed through the creature like it was smoke. But the creature tilted its head as if amused. Then, using a voice that sounded like a dying star, it whispered, "You cannot kill what your ancestors feared before your son was born." Elena felt her heart squeeze. She realized the truth. This was only a small one. A scout. If this could invade their ship so easily, what would millions of them look like? Earth's High Command tracked the incoming ship. Kane watched the radar with emotionless eyes. "Prepare boarding teams," he ordered. "And get medical teams ready. Something inside that ship may be infected." General Meyer nodded. "What about the HFY presence?" Kane answered with a steel tone. "Then we see what these things are capable of." In the Velan Republic, the scientists discovered something terrifying. The HFY were not a species. They were a mistake. A living weapon created by an ancient supercivilization that no longer existed. Their creators tried to destroy them. Failed. Tried to hide them. Failed. Tried to bury them. Failed. Their final act was to send warnings into the future, hoping someone would leave the HFY alone. But humans, curious, brave, stubborn humans, touched the forbidden relic. On Aurora 7, Elena finally reached the emergency comms station. She activated the long-range transmitter. "This is Captain Elena Ward of Aurora 7. We have encountered an anomaly, a living shadow. It is fast, silent, and intelligent. It can enter minds. It is not alone. It is only the beginning." Her voice cracked. "Humanity must prepare." Suddenly, the creature reappeared behind her. Its long fingers brushed her shoulder. Elena jumped forward and rolled away. She fired again, and again the bullets passed uselessly through its body. The creature whispered, "You cannot stop the tide." Earth received her message. The whole control room fell silent. Kane looked at the screen as Elena's terrified face filled it. He whispered to himself, "We're out of time." A shockwave rippled across the outer rim. One of the hibernation planets exploded into dust. Another split into glowing fragments. From each broken world, hundreds of HFY emerged. Winged, crawling, floating, shifting between solid and smoke. They did not roar. They did not scream. They moved with quiet purpose. They were coming. Kane stared at the star map showing red danger markers spreading like blood across the galaxy. "This is no invasion," he said. "This is a hunt." General Meyer swallowed hard. "And humans are the first target." He nodded. Then we fight first. Aurora 7 shuddered as the creature began tearing open the hull. Elena grabbed her fallen crew and dragged them into the escape corridor. She whispered to them, not as a captain but as a human being who refused to die quietly, "We will make it home. We have to. Humanity needs to know what is coming." Her crew nodded, shaking but determined. They reached the escape chamber, but as they opened the hatch, the creature appeared again. Closer, hungrier, faster. Elena stepped in front of her team, gripping the emergency plasma torch. "Come on," she shouted, her voice breaking. "If you want them, you go through me." The creature charged. Elena swung. The torch blade cut through the shadow, and for the first time, the creature recoiled. It shrieked, not in pain, but in surprise. A weapon had touched it. Elena stared at the glowing torch in shock. "Weak to heat," she whispered. The creature dissolved into smoke and fled into the vents. Elena sealed the door. "Everyone into the pods," she ordered. "Move." On Earth, Kane watched Aurora 7 nearing orbit. He whispered the words that every heart felt across the galaxy. The war has already begun. The galaxy had barely begun to breathe after the warning when the first nightmare arrived. It didn't come with noise. It didn't come with light. It came with silence. A silence so heavy it crushed hope before the attack even started. The HFY did not travel like ships. They did not move like creatures. They drifted through space like hungry storms searching for warmth. And the first storm found its target. A peaceful alien colony on the edge of the Velan Republic. The colony floated around a bright blue star, a beautiful world where families lived without fear. Children played near floating gardens. Workers repaired solar towers. Farmers raised glowing crops that illuminated the night sky. They never imagined darkness would come for them first. When the HFY arrived, no one saw a ship. No one heard an alarm. Instead, the star above them flickered, once, twice, and then dimmed as if a giant hand had smothered its light. Velan sensors activated. Soldiers ran to defense posts. But there was nothing to see. Nothing to aim at. Nothing to shoot. Then the cold came. The first HFY descended like a shadow falling through air. Its form shifted like smoke laced with bone. Its eyes glowed faint orange, like dying embers. When it touched the ground, every light in the colony died instantly. Houses went black. Towers powered down. Floating gardens fell from the sky. Soldiers screamed, "What is happening?" But their voices were swallowed by the living darkness spreading across the colony. One soldier fired a plasma cannon at the creature. The beam hit. It should have burned a hole through any known life form. Instead, the HFY absorbed the blast like it was drinking water. The creature grew brighter, bigger, hungrier. It lifted its long arm and drained the soldier's entire suit. The armor collapsed like empty skin. Then the screaming started. Across the galaxy, Earth received the emergency transmission. The Velan commander sobbed into the camera. "They don't kill. They erase. They drain everything. Power, metal, life. We cannot stop them. We cannot." The feed cut. The screen went black. Inside Earth's high command, silence filled the room. Every officer stared in horror. Admiral Kane exhaled slowly. "It has begun." General Meyer whispered, "Sir, we are next." Meanwhile, on Aurora 7, Captain Elena Ward and her surviving crew floated inside the escape pods, separated into 6 small capsules drifting toward Earth's orbit. Elena's pod shook violently as she tried to steady her breathing. She could still feel the creature's presence inside her mind, like cold fingers brushing the edges of her thoughts. She whispered to herself, "Don't listen. Don't let it inside." Her heart pounded. She feared sleep. She feared blinking. She feared remembering the creature's whisper, "You smell alive." As the pods entered the outer range of Earth's defense grid, cannons rotated and locked onto them. Soldiers inside the orbital command station prepared for emergency containment. "Identify yourselves," the operator demanded. Elena pressed the override. "This is Captain Elena Ward. Aurora 7 has been compromised." We need immediate quarantine. The operator hesitated. Then, copy that. Prepare to dock. But something else moved behind Elena's pod. A shadow. Thin. Stretching like smoke. The same creature that escaped the ship. Elena's breath caught. No, not here, not now. The creature glided toward the neighboring escape pod where Engineer Dallin sat strapped in, terrified and alone. Elena slammed her fist against her pod window. Dallin. Behind you. But it was too late. The shadow seeped inside his pod like fog sliding under a door. Dallin screamed, a sound cut short as the creature drained the air. The power, the heat, everything. His pod went dark. Lifeless. Earth sensors caught the energy drop. Alarms exploded through the defense network. Unidentified entity detected near docking corridor. Elena shouted into her MIC, "Do not open the pods. I repeat, do not open the pods." The docking system froze. Cannons moved again, aiming at the dark pod. The creature pressed its face against Dallin's window. 8 ember-like eyes stared at Elena. She felt its voice slip into her head, "You brought us home." Elena screamed, "Stay out of my mind." The creature tilted its head, curious, almost amused. Then it dissolved into smoke and slipped away into the void. Back in high command, Kane watched the energy readings drop. He whispered, "These things, they don't just kill. They consume." Maya clenched her fists. "Sir, we can't let it reach Earth's surface." Kane nodded. "Prepare lantern teams. Heat-based weapons only." Lantern teams were elite human soldiers equipped with prototype plasma lances, experimental weapons that burned hotter than star core fragments. They weren't perfect. They overheated fast. They drained power like crazy. But they were the only weapons that hurt the creature on Aurora 7. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, more XYRH storms awakened. In the Scalorian Dominion, giant floating cities darkened. In the Zyrak homeworld, forests collapsed into ash without fire. In the Yulvar Empire, entire starfields vanished from telescopes as if eaten. Every power realized the same truth. The war was not coming. The war was already here. Back in orbit, Elena's pod finally docked. Armed soldiers surrounded it. Medical officers pointed scanners. Elena stepped out slowly, hands raised, eyes hollow with exhaustion. "My crew is dead," she whispered. "That thing killed them." The soldiers looked shaken but held their positions. Kane appeared on the screen. "Captain Ward, I need your report." Elena closed her eyes, remembering the creature's whisper inside her skull. "Sir, they are not simple enemies. They don't want territory. They don't want resources. They don't negotiate. They feed. They grow. They evolve. And we woke them." Kane nodded. "We know. They already attacked a Velan colony." Elena's eyes widened with horror. "How many survivors?" Kane answered quietly, "None." Elena felt her knees weaken. She pressed her hand against the cold metal of the dock. "Admiral, we need to warn every world. Every ship. Every soldier." Kane's eyes hardened. "It's already done." On the Council planet, alien leaders trembled as they watched the footage of the Velan colony vanishing. Many had blamed humans earlier, but now they realized something cold and painful. No single species could fight this alone. The XYRH were not a human problem. They were a galactic extinction. But still, the galaxy looked to Earth. Because humans did not freeze in fear. They did not fall apart. They did not hide. They stood. Even the Council admitted it. Humans were strange, stubborn creatures who fought hardest when cornered. The Council asked Earth, "What will you do now?" Admiral Kane answered with quiet resolve, "We fight. But first, we learn." He turned to Elena. "Captain Ward, your experience is our only advantage. You saw one of them. You survived one of them. We need to know everything." Elena nodded sharply. "Bring me to the briefing room. I'll tell you everything." But as she walked through the corridors, something inside her chest tightened. A faint whisper curled around her thoughts, "We see you." She stumbled. A medic rushed to her side. "Captain, are you hurt?" Elena shook her head, breathing hard. "No. No. It's nothing." But she knew it wasn't nothing. Something had touched her mind. Something remembered her. Something marked her. The galaxy trembled. Billions prayed. Empires cried, and far beyond any telescope's reach, millions of HFY creatures assembled, a sea of living shadows waiting for their queen's command. When she finally spoke, her voice echoed through the void like a collapsing star. "Find the humans. They woke us. And we are hungry." Earth had seen wars before. It had seen invasions, plagues, asteroids, rebellions. Humanity fought through all of them with stubborn courage. But this war was different. This enemy wasn't after land or resources. It wasn't after victory. It was after existence itself. The HFY didn't conquer planets. They consumed them, erased them, hollowed them out like broken shells. And Earth knew that if the first wave reached the solar system, humanity would be gone within hours. Inside Earth's high command, Admiral Kane stood in front of a hologram showing the galaxy covered in spreading black zones, each zone marking a HFY awakening. He studied them with a face carved in stone. Officers updated him nervously. 2 more systems went dark. Velan line collapsed. Scalorian defenses failed. The HFY are moving faster. Kane listened, silent. When the room quieted, he finally spoke. "It's time." General Maya turned to him, eyes tight with dread. "You mean, activate Lantern Protocol?" Kane nodded once, slowly. "We don't have a choice." The room froze. Lantern Protocol was no ordinary weapon. It was Earth's most secret and most dangerous project. The kind of project that existed only in whispered rumors among soldiers. A weapon built from dark matter physics, quantum flame reactions, and forbidden experiments. Something so powerful that even Earth feared its own creation. Something untested because testing it could destroy half a star system. But humanity needed something that could hurt the HFY. Maya swallowed. "Do we even know if it works?" Kane answered, "We know one thing. It burned the shadow creature on Aurora 7. That makes it our best shot." Across the command room, the lights shifted to red warning mode. Massive vault doors underground began to open, releasing the lantern cores, glowing cylinders of unstable, burning energy held inside reinforced containment chambers. Soldiers watched the transport vehicles with a mix of awe and fear. Some whispered prayers. Some refused to look. Even the machines transporting the lantern cores trembled under their weight. Meanwhile, Captain Elena Ward walked down a long metal hallway with 2 medics at her side. She had just completed her preliminary report, explaining every detail of her encounter. The shadow creature's shape, movement, voice, hunger, and weakness. As she approached the briefing room, she saw something new on the screen. The words "Lantern activation in progress." Elena froze. "They're using it," she whispered. General Maya appeared beside her. "We need every weapon we have, Captain." Elena looked into Maya's tired eyes. "General, this weapon. Will it even be enough?" Maya didn't answer. Instead, she walked ahead without turning around. Inside the test chamber below Earth's surface, the lantern core hummed like a small star trapped in a cage. Scientists in protective suits checked readings on their monitors. Heat levels rising. Containment holding. Energy output stable, for now. The core flickered with colors no human eye had seen before. Dark blues, violent whites, molten golds that twisted into harsh black flames. Kane observed from behind reinforced glass. Begin simulation. A machine released a shadow-like drone created to mimic HFY energy signatures. The moment it entered the chamber, the lantern core reacted. It flashed once, softly. The drone evaporated instantly. Not burned. Not melted. Completely erased. The entire room shook. Even the walls seemed afraid of the weapon. One scientist whispered, "Admiral, this thing doesn't just burn shadows. It destroys them at the deepest level." Kane closed his eyes. "Good. We may survive after all." But celebrations never began. A siren blared. Incoming anomaly approaching Earth's atmosphere. Officers rushed to screens. A small black distortion, like a hole tearing in space, moved toward Earth. Elena's heart crashed in her chest. "One of them followed us," she whispered. Kane ordered, "Lock all orbital cannons. Lantern teams to level 1 readiness." Outside, in orbit, the anomaly expanded. A HFY creature materialized, larger than the one on Aurora 7. This one had wings made of smoke and bone, eyes burning brighter, limbs sharper. It drifted toward Earth like it was smelling the planet's warmth. As it approached, satellites shut down. Power grids flickered. The international station went black. Even Earth's moon sensors dimmed. On the ground, children woke up crying. Animals ran in random panic. Elders felt their hearts squeeze without knowing why. Humanity sensed death approaching, even if they didn't know its name. Inside High Command, Kane gave the order, "Deploy Lantern Unit Alpha." A team of elite soldiers in silver armor stepped onto the launch platform, carrying long spear-like weapons, lantern lances. These weapons glowed with the same strange burning energy as the core. They were unstable, dangerous, unpredictable. But humanity needed something unpredictable. The team launched in a dropship. Elena watched them go, her chest tight. She wanted to be with them, to fight, to see the creature's face again. But she was still weak, mentally shaken, her mind occasionally echoing the whisper she hated, "We see you." The dropship entered orbit and flew straight toward the HFY. The creature floated above Earth, scanning the blue planet with hunger. Lantern Team Alpha landed on a floating defense platform. Their captain, Ryan Hale, stepped forward and activated his lance. The weapon hummed like a burning star. "Target locked," Ryan said. The creature turned its head. All 8 of its ember-like eyes focused on the team. Even through the camera feed, Elena felt the chill. The creature moved first. It disappeared, then reappeared beside the platform, its long fingers stretching like blades. It slammed down. The platform shook violently. Soldiers nearly fell. The creature opened its mouth, not with teeth, but with swirling darkness, and pulled power straight out of the platform's main core. Alarms blared. Power loss detected. Shields failing. Backup generators offline. Ryan shouted, "All units, attack now." 6 lantern lances fired at once. The moment the burning energy touched the creature, it screamed, an ancient, unnatural sound that froze every soul listening. Flames wrapped around the creature's limbs. Its smoke-like wings flickered. For the first time in its existence, it felt pain. Humanity had touched it. Humanity had burned it. Humanity had hurt it. The creature shrieked in rage and whipped its limbs toward the soldiers. 2 were thrown into space instantly. Their screams cut as their suits lost power. Elena covered her mouth, tears forming. "No!" Ryan didn't stop. He ran straight toward the creature, driving his lantern lance through the shadow's chest. A blinding burst of white-gold light exploded outward. The creature twisted, shrieked, and dissolved into smoke and dust, completely erased. For a single second, Earth breathed. Ryan stood on the edge of the platform, his lance glowing faintly. He whispered, "We did it." But the victory lasted only 3 breaths. Kane stared at the star map as dozens of new red markers appeared. Then hundreds. Then thousands. He whispered with dread, "They felt that death." Elena felt something deeper. That whisper inside her head grew louder, "You hurt us. Now we want you more." Kane looked at his officers, face hard. "Prepare every lantern corps. Build more lances. Call every fleet." This was only a scout. General Meyer whispered, "If this is what one can do, what about millions?" Kane answered with a voice heavy as stone, "Then we fight millions." Elena lowered her shaking hand and whispered to herself, "The real war begins now." Earth's sky was calm, but Elena Ward felt only storms inside her chest. She sat alone inside the quarantine chamber, still wearing the torn uniform from Aurora 7. Her hands trembled, Not from cold but from something she couldn't explain. Something she didn't want to understand. The creature's whisper still echoed faintly in the back of her skull. "We see you." Every time the words surfaced, she felt a sting of ice behind her eyes. Medical officers scanned her brain again and again. Machines hummed. Lights flickered. Lieutenant Draven watched the monitors, confused and scared. "Captain, your neural activity looks strange. There's something like an echo pattern." Elena kept staring at the wall. "Are you saying something stayed in my mind?" Draven swallowed. "Not a parasite. Not an infection. Just a presence. Like something looked into you and left a fingerprint." Elena exhaled slowly. "I felt it on the ship. It touched my mind. It knew my thoughts." Draven leaned closer. "Captain, we need to be sure. Just relax. Tell me what you feel now." Elena closed her eyes. Dark, shifting images surged in her mind. Smoke, claws, burning eyes, endless hunger. She felt something else too. A pull, like a faint thread connecting her to something far away. "I feel like something is watching me," she whispered. "Not through cameras. Not through air. Through thoughts." Draven stepped back, fear clear in his eyes. Admiral Kane needs to hear this. Meanwhile, in Earth's High Command, Kane studied the star map glowing red with XYRH movement. Every minute, new systems fell silent. Entire fleets vanished. Alien communications collapsed into static. Maya approached him with a grim face. "The Velan Republic has lost 4 more moons. The Scalorians lost 2 fleets. And, Admiral, we received something else." Kane turned to her slowly. "What?" Maya handed him a datapad. On the screen was a short signal, garbled, broken, but horrifying. A voice, ancient and cold, whispered through the static, "Humans, we come." Kane's jaw tightened. "How close?" Maya whispered, "Hours. Not days." Kane turned toward the quarantine wing. "I need Elena." Elena was escorted into the high briefing chamber, but she looked different. Paler, distant, almost haunted. Officers stared at her as if she carried a ghost on her shoulders. Kane walked toward her. "Captain Ward." Elena nodded slightly. "Sir." Kane studied her eyes. "You look like you haven't slept." Elena whispered, "Sleep is worse. They're louder when I close my eyes." He motioned for her to sit. "We need your mind now more than ever. You survived direct contact. That makes you our most important witness." Elena's throat tightened. "Sir, I think the contact changed me. Something is inside my memory." Kane leaned forward. "Can you help us understand them?" Elena nodded slowly. "I'll try." A hologram lit up, an image of the XYRH Queen. Elena felt her heart slam against her ribs. The creature's towering form filled the room like a nightmare-given shape. 8 burning eyes, elongated limbs, a body of shadow and bone, and a presence that felt cruel, ancient, unstoppable. Elena gripped the sides of her chair. "That's her, the Queen." She spoke through the void. "I heard her in my mind." Maya stared at her. "What did she say?" Elena swallowed. She asked, "Where is the one who woke us?" The room fell silent. Kane's voice dropped. "She wants you." Before Elena could respond, pain stabbed through her skull. She gasped, clutching her head. Officers panicked. Draven rushed forward. "Captain, are you okay?" Elena shook violently. "I hear them. I hear thousands. Screaming, hungry." Alarms blared in the room. Sensors detected a massive spike in her neural activity, a burst of dark energy residue in her mind. It lasted 5 seconds. 5 long seconds where Elena felt her consciousness pulled through a tunnel of endless black. Then it stopped. She collapsed forward, breathing hard. Kane helped her sit straight. "Elena, what did you see?" Her voice shook. "Earth, burning, shadows covering the sky, millions of them." Maya closed her eyes. She saw a premonition. Elena wiped a tear from her cheek. "Admiral, They're not just coming for Earth. They want me. They want the person who touched the relic. They think I'm a beacon. Kane froze. A beacon. Elena nodded, trembling. I think the relic connected me to them. They feel me. They follow me. They know where I am. The room exploded with panic. Maya stepped forward. Admiral, if she's a beacon, the entire HFY swarm will head straight for Earth. Kane clenched his jaw. We have no choice. She stays under full protection. Elena whispered, there's more. Kane turned to her. What? Elena's eyes filled with fear. I saw their hive. The room went silent again. Elena's voice grew weaker. A place outside normal space, like a dead star wrapped in bones. Tunnels made of shadows, thousands of cocoons waiting to hatch, and in the center, she hesitated. A machine. A huge machine. Eating a star. Maya's eyes widened. A star-eater. Elena nodded. If it finishes, the galaxy will go dark. One sun at a time. Kane looked at her with a mix of fear and determination. Did you see coordinates? Elena closed her eyes. The whisper inside her mind surged like cold fire. She gasped and gripped her head again. Yes, far from here, in the dark crescent zone. Kane straightened. We're sending scouts there. Elena grabbed his arm weakly. No, no scouts. Send warships. And send lantern cores. That place is alive. Kane nodded slowly. We will. Suddenly, an alarm screamed across the base. Officers turned to the screens. Maya shouted, we have a breach in orbit. Kane asked, XYOH. Maya's voice shook. Not just one. Not a few. Admiral, it's a wave. Elena felt her legs weaken. The whisper grew louder inside her mind. We found you. Kane rushed to the command console. Launch every lantern team. Activate defense grid. We hold the line. Elena stepped closer to the screen. She saw dozens of black shapes pouring toward Earth like a living storm. Her breath broke. They are coming for me. Kane put a hand on her shoulder. Then you stay with me. You're not alone. Elena whispered, Admiral, if I hadn't touched that relic. Kane cut her off. If it wasn't you, it would have been someone else. Humanity didn't choose this war, but we will finish it. Outside the windows of High Command, the first dark clouds of XYRH shadows entered Earth's orbit. The sky dimmed unnaturally. Street lights flickered. The oceans stilled. Animals cried. Babies woke in fear. Elena watched the first wave approach and whispered to herself, this is my fault, and I will make it right. She didn't know how. She didn't know when. She only knew one truth. The XYRH Queen wanted her alive. And the war's true beginning had just arrived. Earth had never felt fear like this. The sky still looked blue, the clouds still drifted soft and white, but every living thing on the planet felt a pressure, an unseen weight, pressing down on their hearts. Mothers held their children a little tighter. Soldiers stood straighter. Old men whispered forgotten prayers. And all of them felt the same cold truth. Something hungry was approaching. Inside Earth's High Command, alarms wailed in endless loops. Red lights flashed across every hallway. Officers rushed between stations, reporting damage before the damage even happened. Admiral Kane stood in front of the massive holographic globe showing Earth surrounded by glowing blue defensive rings. Thousands of cannons, satellites, drones, shield generators, railguns, and lantern weapon platforms. Each ring hummed with desperate energy. General Maya stepped up beside him. Admiral, all defense lines are active. The lantern cores are in position. The fleet is ready. Kane didn't look away from the hologram. How long until contact? Maya swallowed. 3 minutes. Kane exhaled through his nose. Slow, steady. Then this is it. On a lower level, Captain Elena Ward watched soldiers sprint toward transport ships. Her heart pounded as she moved through the chaotic hallway, escorted by 2 elite guards. The whisper in her mind had grown louder, like a distant scream calling her name. She rubbed her temples, gasping softly. "Stop, stop," but the voice slithered deeper into her thoughts. "You cannot hide from us." She stumbled against the wall. A guard rushed to steady her. "Captain, you okay?" Elena forced herself upright. "I'm fine. Just memories." But it wasn't memories. It was the Queen searching for her. She continued forward. Outside, in the vacuum of space, Earth's fleet assembled in perfect formation. The ships were massive, Colossus-class battleships, shield-breaker cruisers, hammer-point destroyers, and small dart-like interceptors. At the center floated the great human flagship, the Resolute, its hull coated with silver-black plating designed to withstand the lantern energy surges. Captain Ryan Hale, the same soldier who speared the first XYRH scout, now stood on the Resolute's command bridge. His lantern lance hung at his side. His armor glowed faintly. Officers watched him with respect, some with fear. He was the first human to wound a XYRH creature. The first to survive it. The first to prove humans could fight back. Ryan stared through the transparent view shield at the stars, which began to flicker. He whispered, "They are here." And then the sky tore open. A rip in space split above Earth, like the universe itself was being peeled apart by invisible claws. From that tear poured the XYRH, millions of them, moving like a swarm of black fireflies made of nightmares. Some flew with smoke wings, some crawled across invisible walls of gravity, some floated as swirling clouds of darkness. All of them came with one purpose: find the human beacon. Find Elena Ward. But first, they had to break Earth. Ryan shouted, "All ships, fire at will." The first volley filled space with blinding white and blue beams. Railgun slugs tore across the void. Plasma cannons thumped like thunder. Missiles streaked forward. For a moment, it looked like a fireworks storm, and then it hit the swarm. Except nothing happened. The XYRH absorbed every blast. Every missile became food. Every railgun strike turned into glowing cracks of energy that fed the creatures. The swarm grew brighter, larger, faster. Earth's defense officers watched with horror. "So, our attacks are making them stronger." Kane slammed his fist on the console. "Switch all weapons to lantern mode." A new hum spread across the fleet. The lantern cores glowed inside each ship, unstable, dangerous, violent. Lantern cannons fired for the first time in history. White gold beams erupted toward the swarm. This time, the XYRH screamed. The beams tore through their smoky bodies, burning holes and ripping apart dozens at once. The swarm reacted in agony, twisting and shrieking in the vacuum. Ryan shouted, "Keep firing. Burn them." But the XYRH adapted fast. The swarm split into smaller clouds, weaving between the beams with unnatural speed. They rushed toward the fleet like living knives. A wave hit a destroyer first. The hull dimmed instantly. Lights died. Engines froze. The ship collapsed like a drained body and drifted into the void. Another wave hit a cruiser. Sparks burst from every panel. The ship exploded silently. Ryan tightened his grip on his lance. All forward shields to maximum. Back on Earth, Elena reached the main command deck, sweat dripping down her forehead. The whisper inside her head grew louder, more violent, more invasive. She gripped the railing with shaking hands. Maya noticed. "Captain Ward, are you okay?" Elena forced out the truth in a trembling voice. "The Queen, she's close. I can feel her. She's calling me." Kane turned sharply. "Way!" Elena pointed slowly toward the sky. Above the fleet, behind the tear. Kane didn't hesitate. He activated the long-range scanners. A shape moved inside the tear, massive, coiled, luminous with black fire. The XYRH Queen. She emerged slowly, like a living eclipse. Her body was larger than Earth's largest ship. Her limbs stretched like spears made of shadow. Her 8 burning eyes narrowed in hunger. She whispered into Elena's mind. "You carry our spark. Come to us. You belong with us." Elena fell to her knees. Pain exploded in her skull. She screamed, unable to stop. Medical officers rushed to her. Kane grabbed her shoulders. "Elena, stay with me." She gasped. "She's trying to break into my mind. She wants control." The Queen's voice echoed again. "Let me in." Elena screamed louder. Meanwhile, the Queen extended her arm toward Earth's fleet. A wave of dark energy burst forward like a silent bomb. Dozens of human ships disintegrated instantly. Bodies turned to dust. Armor melted. Lights died. Ryan watched the destruction, horror in his eyes. "Admiral Kane, we can't hold them." Kane shouted into the comms, "Every lantern ship, focus fire on the Queen." Dozens of lantern beams fired at once, merging into one giant spear of burning white energy. It struck the Queen's chest. And for the first time, something made her flinch. Not fall, not scream, just flinch. But even that was enough to shake the fleet with new hope. Ryan whispered, "She can be hurt." But the Queen recovered instantly. She glared at the humans with rage older than the galaxy itself. She opened her mouth, not in threat, but in command. Behind her, the swarm formed a spiral. A storm. A vortex of death. Ryan shouted, "Brace for impact." Earth's first defense ring collapsed. Thousands of XYRH creatures rushed toward the planet's atmosphere, burning through shields like paper. Missile silos exploded. Air bases were hit by dark lightning. The oceans roared as shockwaves struck. Elena forced herself to stand. "Admiral," she whispered, "they want Earth gone. They want me." Kane placed a firm hand on her shoulder. "Then we protect you until our last breath." Elena shook her head, tears forming. "This isn't just a battle, Admiral. This is extinction." Kane whispered, "Not while humans still stand." Outside, the XYRH hit Earth's skies like a falling storm. The planet shook. The war reached home, and Elena realized the truth. If the Queen wanted her, then humanity's survival depended on one thing. Earth shook as the first wave of XYRH shadows tore through the planet's upper atmosphere. The sky dimmed, turning from blue to gray, then to a sickening black that looked alive. Lightning crackled across empty clouds. Cities flickered as power grids struggled to stay alive. People across the world stared upward, frozen between fear and disbelief, as dark shapes swarmed like living storms. Inside Earth's high command, chaos spread through every hallway, yet Admiral Kane stood unbroken at the center of the storm. "Hold the line," he shouted. "No retreat." But even he felt the weight crushing the air, an unseen pressure from the XYRH Queen's presence. Something ancient. Something hungry. Something that wanted Earth erased forever. Captain Elena Ward steadied herself against the command table. Her vision blurred. The whispers inside her mind grew sharper, cutting like thin blades. The Queen's voice echoed inside her skull again and again. "Come to me. You opened the door. You are our beacon." Elena clenched her teeth and forced the voice out. "No, no. I won't let you in." But the whispers kept pulling her, like a cold hand gripping her heart. Maya grabbed Elena's shoulders. "Captain, listen to me. Stay focused. Stay here." Elena stared at her with trembling eyes. "General, she's calling me. She can feel where I am. She's tracking me." Kane snapped toward them. "Then we move you somewhere she can't reach." Elena shook her head sharply. "There's nowhere she can't reach." Before Kane could respond, an officer shouted from the console, "Admiral, the second defense ring is collapsing. We've lost 27 ships." Kane shoved aside the panic. "What's the status of the Lantern fleet?" "Fully armed, sir," the officer replied. "But they can't hold for long." Kane turned to Elena. "Captain, we need another advantage. You saw their hive in your mind. You saw something we don't know yet." Elena's breath shivered. "Yes, their heart. The Star Eater machine." Kane nodded slowly. "Tell me everything." Elena swallowed hard, gripping the edge of the table as the memory poured into her mind like fire. "It's huge, bigger than any ship. It sits in the center of the hive, feeding on a dying star, drawing power for something terrible. The Queen controls it. If that machine reaches full strength, she hesitated, tears forming. It can destroy entire star systems with one burst. Maya stepped closer. Is there a way to destroy it? Elena inhaled shakily. Only one. A lantern core, placed inside the machine's heart. But the hive is alive. It reacts to movement. Anyone who enters will be attacked by thousands. And the Queen will be there. She lowered her voice. And she wants me alive. Kane didn't flinch. Then we send a strike team. Maya's eyes widened. Sir, inside the hive? That's suicide. Kane answered quietly, so is staying here. The room went silent. Then Kane spoke again, voice heavy with resolve. Humanity has two choices, wait here for extinction, or strike the enemy where it lives. Elena looked up slowly. Admiral, I'll go. Maya's head snapped in shock. Absolutely not. Elena lifted her chin, eyes burning with fierce calm. The Queen is after me. She won't stop until she finds me. If I go, she'll follow me into the hive. Away from Earth. Kane stared at her, searching her face. You're saying, you'll draw her out? Elena nodded. Yes. If she wants me, I'll give her a reason to chase me. She wiped a tear. But not here. Not near my planet. Not near my people. Maya looked at her like she was slowly breaking. Elena, you're asking to sacrifice yourself. Elena whispered, if humanity survives, then it's worth it. Kane exhaled deeply. You won't go alone. He turned toward the comms officer. Get me Captain Ryan Hale on the Resolute. Ryan appeared on the screen, armor cracked, smoke rising behind him, blood on his cheek, but his eyes fierce. Admiral, our lines are barely holding. We need orders. Kane stared straight into his soul. Captain Hale, prepare your ship for a counterstrike into the XYRH hive. Ryan's brows tightened with determination. A direct strike? Sir, that's a pause. Dangerous, but necessary. Kane nodded once. You will take Captain Ward. You will take a lantern core. You will enter the hive, plant the core inside the Star Eater, and destroy it from the inside. Ryan lowered his head in a soldier's acceptance. Understood. Elena felt a cold shiver. Captain Hale, if I lose control, if the Queen tries to take my mind. Ryan interrupted softly, surprising her. Then I'll bring you back. No matter what it takes. Elena looked away, tears gathering in her eyes. Suddenly the base trembled as the XYRH struck the planet's outer defenses again. Officers grabbed onto consoles. The ground vibrated like something massive had collided with Earth's shield. Impact detected, a voice screamed. Shields at 40%. Kane barked, launch the strike team, now. Moments later, Elena stood in a loading bay staring at the lantern core, a giant pulsing sphere locked inside a reinforced container. It glowed with unstable white fire, shaking with every beat. Only one of these cores existed strong enough to destroy the hive. Ryan walked beside her, helmet under his arm, lantern lance on his back. This core is unstable, he said quietly. Once we activate it inside the hive, there's no turning back. Elena nodded, voice hollow. Then we don't turn back. As they boarded the Resolute, Earth's sky cracked again with dark lightning. More XYRH dove through the clouds. Cities screamed. Ships exploded. Lantern beams fired in every direction, lighting the sky like a chaotic sunrise. Inside the ship, Elena placed her hand on the cold metal wall. Please, hold on, Earth. Ryan stepped beside her. We'll bring them hope. The ship engines roared to life. The Resolute pulled away from Earth, pushing past burning wreckage, dodging collapsing platforms, weaving through swarms of shadows. Elena felt the Queen's voice surge in her mind again. There you are, come home, beacon. Come to your Queen. Elena gritted her teeth. Not your beacon. Not your anything. The Resolute rocketed into the void, flying past the torn space rift where the HFY flooded into the galaxy. As they entered the tear, Elena felt a wave of cold wash over her entire body, like stepping through a veil of dying souls. Behind them, Earth continued to fight. Ahead of them, the hive waited. A dark field filled with shifting towers of bone. Rivers of shadows. Giant cocoons glowing with unborn creatures. Swarms circling like vortexes. And in the center, pulsing with monstrous hunger. The Star-Eater machine. Ryan whispered, "We're really doing this." Elena whispered back, voice shaking. "We're flying into the heart of the galaxy's oldest nightmare." The Queen sensed their arrival. Her eyes opened inside the dark. She whispered through the void, "Finally, you come to me." Elena closed her eyes, tears falling. She whispered one last line, "Humanity, forgive me if I fail." And the hive swallowed the Resolute. The Resolute plunged deeper into the HFY hive, surrounded by living shadows that drifted like floating nightmares. The ship's hull groaned as dark tendrils scraped across its sides. Every sensor flickered. Lights dimmed. Elena Ward sat in the command chamber beside Ryan Hale, gripping the armrests so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her breath came in sharp, trembling waves. Not because of fear, she had already accepted that, but because the Queen's voice was growing louder, clearer, closer. "Come inside, my beacon. Come to your true home." Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Captain, stay with me. Don't let her pull you in." Elena swallowed hard. "I'm trying, but she's in every corner of my mind." The ship lurched violently as it passed through a massive rib-like structure of dark energy. Outside, colossal HFY guardians drifted, each the size of a small ship, their bodies twisted with bone and smoke. They moved slowly at first, like slumbering giants waking from centuries of hunger. Then they attacked. A guardian slammed into the Resolute with the force of a meteor. Metal screamed. Consoles sparked. Ryan shouted, "Shields at 30%. Evasive maneuver, now." The ship dove downward, weaving through spires of living bone, spinning past shadow storms, barely avoiding claws made of darkness. Each strike drained power. Each near miss stole light. Elena felt her vision blur as the Queen whispered, "Every step you take leads you closer to me. Do not resist. Let go." Elena slammed her fist against her forehead. "Stop. Get out of my head." Ryan grabbed her arm. "Elena, listen to me. She wants you broken. Don't give her that." Her breathing steadied. But deep down, she felt the thread binding her to the Queen Titan. Finally, the structure cleared. The hive opened into a massive heart-like void, and there it was. The Star-Eater. It hung suspended in the darkness like a monstrous engine built from dead stars. It pulsed with sickening life, drawing energy from a dying sun trapped inside its core. Bone-like cables wrapped around the star, squeezing it, feeding on its light, choking it slowly. Elena whispered, voice full of horror, "That's it. If this machine finishes, it will tear entire star systems apart." Ryan inhaled deeply. "Then we destroy it." He turned to the bridge crew. "Prepare the lantern core." Below deck, engineers unlocked the containment clamps. The lantern core glowed violently, white and gold flames swirling like trapped storms. The sphere throbbed like it wanted to burst. It was unstable, unpredictable, but the only chance humanity had left. Elena moved toward the lower deck. Ryan followed. "Elena, wait, where are you going?" Elena met his eyes full of fear, determination, and sorrow. "The Queen won't let anyone near that machine. She'll stop a fleet. She'll stop an army. She'll stop everything." Ryan stepped closer. "So we go together." Elena shook her head, slowly, painfully. "No, she isn't calling you, Ryan. She's calling me." Ryan's jaw tightened. "You're not going in there alone." Elena reached out and rested her hand on his chest plate. "Ryan, you're a soldier. You're hope. You lead people. Humanity needs you out there." Her voice cracked. "But me? I'm the one she wants. I'm the one she follows. Ryan closed his eyes. His voice broke. I won't let you die. Elena smiled weakly. I never asked you to let me. Before he could respond, another violent tremor shook the ship, this time more powerful, more personal. The Queen was near. The air grew colder. Shadows thickened. Lights flickered. She was coming. Elena's mind nearly collapsed under the pressure of her presence. Beacon, step forward, come to your queen. Elena forced her legs to move. Step after step, she walked down the dark corridor toward the drop bay, where the lantern core waited. Her heartbeat echoed like thunder in her ears. Ryan followed close behind, unable to stay back. The drop bay doors opened with a groan. A vast chasm hung below, an open wound in the hive. The Star Eater pulsed far beneath them. Massive XYRH creatures swirled around it like guardians of a dark god. And then she appeared. The XYRH Queen stepped out of the shadows, her towering form filling the bay entrance. Her 8 burning eyes glared with cold hunger. Her voice wrapped around Elena like chains. There you are. Elena's knees buckled for a moment. Ryan stepped beside her, raising his lantern lance. Stay back, monster. The Queen tilted her head, almost amused. You hurt my children. You burned my hive. And yet, you still breathe. Ryan lunged forward and drove his lantern lance into her chest. The Queen shrieked, an explosive, shattering sound. The hive trembled. But instead of weakening, the Queen's body twisted, reshaped, grew larger. Her wound closed with shadowy tendrils. She whispered, I evolve. You cannot win. Ryan was thrown backward, slamming into the wall hard enough to crack his armor. Elena screamed his name and ran toward him. Ryan! He struggled to rise, but his legs shook. Elena, go. Go now. She stared at him, a moment heavy with unspoken emotion. Then she turned and sprinted toward the lantern core. The Queen roared and lunged after her. Elena grabbed the core, despite the unbearable heat burning her palms. She screamed but didn't let go. She dragged the core toward the edge of the bay, toward the drop that led directly to the machine's heart. The Queen's claws scraped the floor behind her. Ryan rose, limping, blood dripping from his brow, and he hurled himself at the Queen again with a furious cry. His lance burned bright, slamming into the Queen's back. She screeched, throwing him aside, but the distraction was enough. Elena reached the edge. She stared down at the Star Eater, a swirling storm of bones and light, screaming with imprisoned power. Elena whispered to herself, voice trembling. This ends with me. The Queen screamed, No. Elena pushed the lantern core off the platform. It fell in silence, straight toward the heart of the Star Eater. White gold fire exploded below. The hive shook violently. The Queen's screech echoed across the galaxy. Shadows crumbled. Cocoon walls cracked. The Star Eater machine twisted under the violent light, its cables snapping like old vines. Ryan shouted, Elena, we have to go. But Elena stumbled forward, collapsing onto her knees. The connection between her and the Queen ripped apart like tearing muscle. Blood dripped from her nose. Her vision blurred. The Queen stumbled too, screaming in agony. Elena whispered, eyes dimming, humanity survives. Then everything went white. The lantern core detonated inside the Star Eater. A colossal shockwave ripped through the hive. The Queen dissolved into a billion sparks of dying shadow. The hive collapsed. The void cracked. And the Resolute, with Ryan dragging Elena's unconscious body toward the escape shuttle, blasted out of the collapsing nightmare, barely outrunning the explosion. Behind them, the Star Eater imploded, sucking the hive into a burning wound of white fire. Across the galaxy, XYRH creatures froze, then crumbled into ash. Earth's skies cleared. The shadows vanished. The threat ended. Because one woman walked into the darkness and refused to kneel. Hours later, aboard the Resolute's medical bay, Admiral Kane appeared on the comm screen. Ryan stood beside Elena's bed, her heartbeat faint but steady. Kane spoke softly, It's over. Ryan looked down at Elena, brushing a strand of hair from her face. No. It ended because of her. Kane nodded. Humanity owes her everything. Elena's eyes fluttered open weakly. She looked at Ryan and whispered, barely audible. Did we win? Ryan smiled through tears. Yes, because you fought. Elena exhaled softly, a peaceful breath, and closed her eyes again. Not in death, but in rest. Earth survived. The galaxy survived. Humanity became a legend. And across the stars, every surviving race whispered the same truth.